Boyfriend refuses to tell parents about my race. My F25 boyfriend, M27, refuses to tell parents about me, my race. We started dating 2 months ago, but we've known each other for about a year. My family has met him, hung out with him a handful of times over the past year. My family is really accepting and does not care about skin color. Last week he invited me over to his parents' house when they weren't home to show me where he grew up. After hanging out for 20 minutes, his parents pulled into the driveway. We were sitting in the kitchen when they pulled in, and I stood up to walk to the front door with him to say hi. That's when he freaked out. He grabbed me by the arm and pulled me to the back door where he parked his car. I was really confused because I thought we were going to hang out at his house for the evening, but instead he's dragging me to the back door. He tells me that his parents don't like visitors and I should leave while he greets them. I didn't drive to his house because he had picked me up, so I had to take a bus back to my apartment 2 hours away. While I'm on the bus, he texts me to meet him at his apartment later and he would explain everything. I go to his apartment later that evening and he apologizes for rushing me out of his parents' house with no explanation. He goes on to explain that his parents aren't comfortable around black people and he needed to prepare them before introducing them to me. I was really confused because he never told me that his parents had racial biases. He told me that his parents feel more comfortable around white culture, and they need time to adjust to new people who aren't from the same culture. He said he's never dated someone outside his culture, he's Canadian, and wanted to try something new. I'm not that upset about his parents. We've only been dating for 2 months, so it's still too early for a meet and greet, but I'm finding it difficult to accept his explanation. I understand that he can't control his parents' behavior, perceptions, but he still hasn't introduced to any of his friends. He's met my friends and family over the course of our friendship and relationship, but I haven't met anyone that he's friendly with. When asked, he says, "You wouldn't like them because of their views on certain issues." He thinks it's best to keep those two worlds separate for now. I know I'm being too sensitive, but I really want to feel like he's proud to be with me, show me off to the people he cares about. I want to feel like I belong. What can I do to make him feel comfortable going forward? I don't want to push him because dating someone outside his culture is already hard for him. I want him to feel comfortable enough to at least introduce me to one of his friends. We can't even hold hands in public because he's worried that someone he knows personally, a friend or family member, will see us and have a negative reaction. Too long did not read. My boyfriend refuses to tell parents about me, my race. Update. I just read the message he left me. He wants to meet Friday night for dinner with 2 of his close friends. This was after I gave him an ultimatum the last time we spoke. He says he's ready to let me into every part of his life. You're my best friend and I see a future with you. You were my friend before we started dating. I don't want to lose my friend and my partner. I know I've been evasive and I've made you feel like you're not worthy. I don't deserve you, but I'm going to do better. I promise. I've made you a lot of promises, but this time I'm going to back it up with action. I'm so sorry. I know you're tired of hearing it, but I mean it. I want to introduce you to my parents, but I want to do it right. You deserve that. I don't deserve a second chance. You've given me more than one. But I'm asking you because I see you in my future. I want to let you into every part of my life. I'll be working from home for the next few days. Please call me when you're ready. 1 year of friendship, no access to his friends. 2 months of dating, no access to his friends. An ultimatum? Yes, you can meet 2 of my carefully selected friends. He has a large friend group and I've never met any of them. His parents aren't comfortable around black people. Are you planning on having children, like, ever? Because I got news for you. He said he's never dated someone outside his culture, he's Canadian, and wanted to try something new. No. People don't date others outside of their culture because they want to try something new. People date people because they are attracted to them, they are interested in getting to know the other person, etc. Time to dump him. Don't waste your time as the tour guide to a tourist too afraid of the tour. This isn't going to turn out well for you. I'd lose the whole boyfriend. So, he basically plans to keep you as a dirty little secret for the entirety of your relationship? Or just until he decides whether you're worth pissing off his parents over? How long will that be? 6 months? 1 year? Okay. He said he's never dated someone outside his culture. This line is bullshit and low-key racist. Black culture is Canadian culture. Multiculturalism is a core part of what Canada is about. He's using all this wishy-washy language to say his parents don't like black people. This is exactly why so many black women don't date white men. Sorry friend, but he's ashamed of you. I'm black and my husband is white and I met his parents within a month of meeting him. They went no contact with us for 4 years after my husband told them if they didn't accept me, they didn't accept him. Your boyfriend is still a child who needs his parents' and friends' approval to the extent that he shoved you out of the house. Don't run away, run away. My 22M spouse, 23F, has made a new male best friend and it's getting the best of me. I don't really know where to begin. I'm at a point where I flip-flop between feeling insane and totally justified. My wife has made a close opposite-sex friend at work. She Snapchats him constantly, FaceTimes him 3-5 times per week, goes out to coffee, lunch with him. He has made little to no effort to be friends with me. While he does go through the motions and invites me to some of their activities, it's like I'm not even there. They have such specific banter that I don't even feel like I could keep up with or participate in. On the outside it appears the two of them have much more fun and in common than my wife and they have spent a lot of alone time together, which has at least been limited now that we decided solo movie nights are out of the question, but they still seem virtually inseparable. A couple things that have put me over the edge. My wife is laying in bed with me, and she randomly says, "I miss Nate so much. I have withdrawals from all of our shit talking." A few days later he FaceTimes her to get a ride to a work-related event. He doesn't know I'm sitting right next to her and literally starts talking to her in a baby voice. The only time I have ever talked to someone in that way was when I was in a relationship with them. She also made the comment that he is one of the only things that make her life bearable. I'm very uncomfortable with the entire dynamic. I continue to voice my discomfort, but I know the most that will happen is a few superficial boundaries like, no movie nights alone, but still hanging out alone in every other way. When more serious measures have been discussed, she made it clear that she doesn't think ending the friendship is fair. She really doesn't want to start resenting me. Hopefully just writing this out will be somewhat cathartic. I'm sure at some level I'm not being totally fair to my wife. This is just how I'm feeling. They're definitely going into emotional cheating territory. The fact that she tells you she misses him and he makes life bearable, would definitely cross some boundaries for me. They're behaving as if they're dating, you need to talk to her about it ASAP. They need to cut back on the FaceTime calls and Snapchatting. If she gives you pushback, which I feel like she will, then you got a problem. Don't let her gaslight you by saying they're just friends and she loves you blah blah. Tell her they're getting way too comfortable and crossing some boundaries for you. If my wife said another man was what made her life bearable, I would be super pissed and would ask her to back down the relationship. If she doesn't see herself how this is hurting your relationship, then you are in a no-win situation. Asking her to back off with this friend will just end up with her resenting you. I'm so sorry you are in this situation, but the only thing you can do is show her how this friendship is hurting your marriage. Sounds like a full-on emotional affair. There is nothing good that will come of this friendship. Find the boundaries you can live with and communicate them to your wife. Don't sit on the sidelines while your marriage falls apart. They are crossing a line. She can have her friend, but crossing the line is a no. That's it. She is emotionally cheating with her work husband. She may even be fucking him by now. If she wants to save your marriage, you need to tell her to cut all contact out of work. All contact. If she refuses, your marriage is dead. She is already having an emotional affair, my guy. That's not a wife anymore, man. I hate to be that guy, but a sane spouse would not do such. Time to reconsider this relationship and the person you thought you knew. You're young at 22. Don't want to say you married young, but you can tell that yourself. Do all couples struggle to answer, "What's for dinner?" My boyfriend, 25 male, and I, 24 female, have been dating for 4 years now, and we are finally moving in together in a couple months. Time is ticking and I'm starting to think about some of our differences in a new way, as some may reveal themselves as issues when sharing space. The number one thing I'm thinking about is food. For some context, I've been working in the food industry for 6 years and love it more than anything. I have a real passion for cooking, baking, creating and trying new things, going out to new places, and feeding other people. I work at a prepped meal delivery service, where we find that our customer base is mostly women who order for their families. Discussing this with the other women I work with, I realized they all are essentially in charge of making dinner every night, whether they want to or not. So it's clear I love food. This was true when I first started dating my boyfriend, and it is now. When we first started dating, he was in a shitty financial situation, so I never thought poorly of him for barely cooking for himself. He would make simple things like garlic pasta and broccoli, or processed things like boxed mac and cheese. When his finances got a bit better, his eating habits didn't change. This bothered me because we were both vegan at the time, and I knew that it takes a lot of careful planning to get enough essential nutrients every day. He never cared about this and pretty much survived off frozen nuggets and the like. As a result, whenever I spent time at his place or vice versa, I would always be meal planning for both of us and doing the cooking too. But, he was also in college and very busy. So it bothered me, but I also had sympathy for his situation as I was also in college, though I always found the time to make whole meals. Fast forward to now, 4 years later. My boyfriend graduated a couple months ago. I assumed that he might cook more. But nothing has changed. He says, "I eat to stay alive." I still find myself cooking every single time I come over. Aren't the hosts supposed to provide food? I do when I host. He doesn't meal plan and he barely ever buys fresh vegetables and fruits. Every day at like 5 p.m., I ask him if he has thoughts about dinner. He never has had any input whatsoever, leaving it completely up to me 100% of the time. What the hell would he do had I not come over? Just not eaten? I don't understand this at all. Now I'm thinking about buying groceries with him every week. If he's not cooking and I am, but he will eat everything I make, will he split groceries with me 50-50? Or because he'll be paying a little bit more in rent than me, do I consider it courtesy to feed him? Is that just what a good girlfriend does? Does this matter way more to me than it does to other people? How do I live with someone who doesn't care about food? Edit. Thank you to everyone who contributed. I've read every single comment and highly appreciate your time. Seeing how every human eats food, I shouldn't have been surprised with how many people struggle with answering what's for dinner, and how volatile a subject it can be. I am most definitely going to have a conversation with my boyfriend about responsibilities and how to split them fairly before we move in. I think that for me, if he pitches in for groceries, doesn't have to be 50-50 since I am the one insisting on making elaborate meals that require special ingredients. Does the dishes even half the time, and helps plan the menu, that is probably a fair enough trade for me. I will also be creating a list of meals that I can choose from when neither of us have ideas for what to eat. There are definitely a lot of ways to handle the subject and every single household is different. Feel free to keep commenting and shedding light on how your household handles dinner. Some people don't prioritize cooking as much as others. My ex and I had a similar issue. She loved to cook and was very enthusiastic about making really extravagant dinners, which I certainly admired about her, but it would sometimes take like 2 hours to prep and then I'd have a kitchen full of dishes to deal with. Her argument was since she cooked, I cleaned. Which is fair if both people want the meal, but I was always exhausted from work and fine with picking something up from a restaurant on my way home, which she said was just lazy. There's nothing wrong with enjoying different things in life. To you, a well-thought-out home-cooked dinner is a priority. To him it's not. Not a deal-breaker, just something you'll need to compromise about from time to time. I think this is something you need to sit down with your boyfriend. You can't expect your boyfriend to have the same level of passion for cooking as you. Like he said, he eat just to stay alive, that is it. So don't expect much. I love cooking and I am the one who usually cooks and gets all the groceries with some minor input from my so. If I ask him to cook, he usually puts something in the oven like fries or some nuggets. Do I mind it? No, I don't. It's food. I am grateful for it. If it is really bothering you that much, why not start with some baby steps? Cook together. A simple meal that you can do together. He's not interested in cooking, and isn't picky about what he eats. I felt the same as your BF. In fact, there were a few days here and there where I literally forgot to eat. How do I live with someone who doesn't care about food? If it means that much to you, you don't have to be with him. You sound like you really care about food, and like you haven't actually done the work to ask thoughtful questions to him about his relationship with food. So I think you are jumping to a ton of conclusions, and food is often much deeper than just, he doesn't care about getting 82,642,883 grams of nutrient. Ah, woe is me. How will I ever live with someone like this? Yikes. Have you talked to him about wanting to split the cooking 50-50? Or do you cook if he cleans arrangement? My boyfriend and I have set days when we each cook. He cooks 5-6 days out of the week and I do the dishes. But this was something we discussed before we even lived together. I do order the food for the week. He gives me feedback on the stuff he's thinking of cooking. If you haven't had a real discussion about it, I'd suggest doing so before moving in so you both have an idea about what you're expecting from one another. Then in a couple months reevaluate if that plan is still working for you. You care about food, so this matters to you. He doesn't. I fucking hate cooking. Like would rather not eat than cook. When I was single my meals consisted of chicken and rice, and the chicken is cooked in batches. I didn't even reheat it because I hate cooking so much. I had yogurt and Jell-O in the fridge. That was all. My girlfriend does all the cooking. She has no problem with that. I do the dishes and cleanup because I have no problem with that. It's an easy trade-off. Of course I pay 50-50 for the groceries. I eat 50% of it. And to be honest it's probably like 85% of it. I just don't cook it. She is happy with the arrangement and so am I. The key here is to talk about it and be on the same page. This is what moving in together is all about, figuring out if this is something feasible long-term. You're operating under the assumption that you have to cook for him too when you make dinner and honestly you don't. He probably wouldn't even care if you just fixed yourself something. If you care about food, you do the cooking, he does the dishes. Some people don't care about food. If you do, that's on you. Otherwise, on his nights to cook, don't be mad if it's frozen pizza. My wife wants a separation but I don't feel like I should be the one leaving the home. Update. Thanks for all the responses. We decided to stay under the same roof. And I moved my stuff into a spare bedroom with bathroom to work on myself while she works on herself. Time will tell. I will speak with a lawyer. I also have since decided to communicate only via text so things remain documented. The abuse has been documented as well. I am not perfect by any means and while the thought and opportunity of cheating or leaving has crossed my mind, maintaining the relationship with my daughter seeking help through personal counseling is much more important. Thank you. She wants to stay married so you keep paying for things. Her weight loss and changing her name on Facebook is her getting ready to start dating again. Her asking for a separation and for you to move out means she wants to bring a dude to the house. Don't leave the home, record all interactions, and talk to a divorce lawyer. Here is the kicker. She is requesting that we separate and that I move while her parents live 30 minutes away and have 3 spare bedrooms. Mine are 4 hours away in another state. Not to mention my home office. No, is a complete answer. If she wants to separate, she's free to move out to her parents. Also, your wife doesn't sound well. You're paying for her life. She wants out, you stop paying for her life. AMD see if you get alimony for putting her through school. My friend paid for his wife to go through law school. AMD she's making monthly payments for his generosity. She can't throw you out since it's community property. Consult with an attorney to find out how to get through this with the least change to your life. She takes all your money and abuses you. Do not move from the home. Do not go to her relatives for advice. Have a consult with a lawyer. She is making a move for the house and custody of your daughter. Talk to your family to see if a relative can help with your daughter if needed. If she hits you, it's a matter of time before she takes things out on the kid. I'd go so far to say hitting you was a way to goad you into hitting back. Saying she's willing to try counseling but removing wedding items, changing her name on Facebook is gaslighting. Although the majority of domestic violence victims are women, it happens to men as well. It's not your fault. Think of your child's safety and security. If you move out you will still be financially responsible for the house, child, her and everything that goes with it. Plus if she files for divorce and you leave it will look like you abandoned your family. She wants to separate. But not a divorce. Why? She is setting herself up to cheat if she is not already. And use your money and keep living her lifestyle. Contact an attorney and get advice on protecting your finances. Also if she strikes you consider filing charges with the police. Talk to that attorney now. Do not wait. Continue with individual counseling and let your therapist help you decide if this marriage is in your best interests long term. I'd put the marital counseling on hold until you've decided if you want to stay. 1. See a divorce lawyer. You don't want moving out to end up hurting you, abandonment. 2. Document her hitting you in the face. 3. See if you can get her to move out as she's the one who wants the break. 4. Stop paying for her college. If she's just using you for the dollar, don't help her do it. Dollars to donuts, she'll want a divorce right after she has you finish paying for her degree. I agree that she should move. Get a divorce lawyer. See if you can get a recording of her admitting to hitting you. By the way, when you hit me that was not okay. Record your comment and her reaction. She is a toxic, abusive person. Start recording every interaction. Sounds like she wants a fresh start. Without you.